Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Leesburg. I am Larry Branch, and I am a member of the spiritual community. Our theme this year, Timeless Vision. This month, our focus is One Journey, Many Paths. The title of our talk today is A Clean Slate, given by Reverend Sunday Cote. Right now, we open our sacred space together, setting our intentions for our service and bringing our awareness to our unity and oneness, which is represented by this one lit candle. Let us close our eyes now as we begin to bless this service today. Together, let us recognize the divine presence that moves through all things and know that this presence of love expresses as each of us in a unique and beautiful ways. I know that we are blessed by this time together and that we are each renewed in our remembrance of love, peace, wholeness, and connection. I give thanks to everyone in attendance for everyone who made our service possible today. May the energy of love that is generated here bless us all abundantly, and so it is. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments any prayer requests that you would like to be included later in our service, in our community spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. We turn now to blessing our contributions and donations that are shared today for our center. There are many ways to give. If you will notice at the bottom of the screen, you can text your donation to 703-940-9260, or you can use Cash App by sending it to $CSL Leesburg, or by mailing a check to P.O. Box 1830, Leesburg, Virginia 20177. And if you like using PayPal, send it to info@cslleesburg.org. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. We know that all that is shared with our center blesses us all and those who give. We are a tithing community, and in addition to helping us pay our expenses, which continue even though we aren't meeting in person, we also tithe to our home organization as well as other organizations that inspire us to help further our vision for helping create a world that works for all. We thank you for your support. Let us read together this affirmation at the top of our screen. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And now we move on into our time of meditation with Reverend Sunday.
Thank you, Larry.
Mhm.
So today I thought we would do a unified mindfulness practice called Feel Good, and it's just a way of tuning in. We're going to start in our mental pictures and visual, but we're going to drop down into our body and feel some nurturing, positive experiences. So if you've never done this before, I'm just going to guide you through it. And if you've been coming to my Thursday morning group, you're familiar with it, but it's pretty easy to follow along. So however you choose to get comfortable for meditation practice, we're going to be in practice for about 10 minutes. So you can straighten up and settle into your posture. You can do this practice with your eyes closed or open, whatever you feel comfortable. And just take a breath, and as you settle into the posture, just allow yourself to relax any muscles that might need to relax. You might notice your jaw. Just allow it to relax your shoulders. Drop them just a little bit. The idea is to be alert, but also relaxed. So to begin this practice, we're wanting to generate feel good emotions within our physical body. Sometimes that happens naturally. You might just check in and see how you're feeling, where in your body you might be feeling a positive emotion. You might have looked outside and seen the beautiful snow if you're in Virginia or Maryland and thought it was just beautiful. And if you find that positive emotion, you can just focus on that. That'll be your focus. Just notice where it shows up. Another way to generate that positive emotion is simply with a smile, a slight smile called the Buddha smile. Just a closed mouth smile. Sometimes when we do that, it generates a feel good feeling in our physical body. And a third way to do this practice is to bring to mind, in your mind's eye, your visual field, or in your thought process, some event or person that generates a positive emotion for you. It could be joy or love. And once you can see or hear that experience on the inside your mental talk, mental visual field, let's drop into your body. Notice where you might be feeling it. How does that love or joy show up in your physical body? And when you do that, just going to focus on that feeling in the body until it starts to fade. And when it fades, you're going to generate that feeling again, either by a smile or going back to that thought process again, like striking a bell to generate that positive emotion again, once again. And focus on that. Let's repeat that process, continuing to regenerate feel good experience within your physical body. If you find your mind wandering, that's perfectly okay. Just an opportunity to come back and strike the bell of that positive emotion and go back to the focus. If you find this practice challenging, there's not any good emotion inside, you might just explore a little bit. It can be very subtle, someplace within you. If you find that you have competing thoughts or other feelings, that's okay. You just set them aside and choose to just focus on one. You don't have to catch them all. As you strike that bell again and move into your positive emotion, you can zoom in to a specific place in the body, or at this point, you might be noticing that it's radiating out throughout your whole body. You can zoom out and just really soak into that experience of that feel good flow in the body. Do you notice any sounds around you? It's perfectly okay. Acknowledge them, then turn back to creating the sense of feel good in the body. As we begin to come out of this practice, just take a moment to notice your entire physical being. You can continue this practice kind of in the background, or just stop throughout your day and strike a bell. Good feeling into the physical experience. And so we can come back, open your eyes. Thank you for that practice today. And today our music is chosen for Black History Month. It's the song Lift Every Voice and Sing. And James Weldon Johnson, who was a civil rights activist, originally wrote it as a poem, which was set to music in 1899 by his brother John Rosamond Johnson. So it's considered by many to be the Black national anthem in America. And the rendition that we're going to hear today is by Alvin Chia, who's a part of the Take Six local group. And so enjoy this rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the skies, let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing us march on till victory is won.
Beautiful. So today we are starting our February theme, if you can believe that. We're already into February, and our theme for the month is One Journey, Many Paths. And today we're going to be talking about a clean slate. And last month, we talked about timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision, which is, of course, is our theme for the whole year. So all of this kind of comes together. So when we talk about creating a clean slate, we might tend to think that we are trying to cast aside the past, to just forget, to let bygones be bygones, to move on. But I think it's important that that's not really what I'm talking about today. As we highlighted all last month, we bring all of us with us on this evolutionary process, this little evolutionary journey, the stories that we've been told, the memories, the traumas in our bodies, what's going on within the collective unconscious. So that's all important to acknowledge as we go forward. But what is really beautiful, what's a beautiful thing, is that we're often at a choice point, and that there are healthy ways to move through and to clear out old beliefs, the traumas, the hurts that we've experienced, so that we are free to experience something new in our present moment. And when we experience something new in our present moment, it begins to plant that seed, so it turns our future into a new experience. And I think that's what was meant when Thomas Troward said that principle is not bound by precedents. And what he meant by that is that there is a principle that we teach, oneness with the divine, that we are all part of that there's a power in the universe, as Dr. Holmes said, that we can use to create a new in each moment, that we're not bound by what we have created in the past. Good thing, right? That we can change, that we can harness this creative power to create something new based on new knowledge of who we are. When we have that new knowledge, being beloved, divine expressions of God, that can change our whole experience. In The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker, he says, when you know the truth, you are set free from the untruth. When you know yourself as evolving, expanding intelligence, you are set free from your former patterns of unintelligence. Isn't that the good news? The good news that, as Maya Angelou famously said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, you do better. So this is what it's meant by this clean slate, that at any moment we're at a choice point to create something new. And of course, we have lots of opportunities to experience a clean slate just in everyday life. Oftentimes when I think about creating a clean slate, I think about the times in my life when I was a waitress in college and in certain times in my life. And although it was stressful and hectic and busy in the moment, what I loved about that work was that at the end of every shift, after I'd cleaned my tables, I'd prep for the next day, it was done. It was done. I left with a free mind. I wasn't thinking on my time off, oh, I have to get that food and deliver it to table 3. I wasn't thinking about what was going on. I had a clean slate. Every day I went back in with this clean slate to start a new shift with new customers and a whole new thing. I have that same experience from school, I think. Many of us, if you finish a class, you finish a semester, it's done, you go on to the next. Another one, I think of Robert's Garden, that every spring is like a fresh canvas, ready to be painted on. And in fact, every night when we go to bed, we have a chance to clear the slate, to begin again the next day. Ralph Waldo Emerson said to us, finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. And Meister Eckhart encouraged us to be willing to be a beginner every single moment. And these are spiritual practices, to begin every single moment. But often we don't take those opportunities to begin again. We carry our stresses, our mistakes, our concerns right into the next day. We allow trauma to fester and get stuck, and we allow our old beliefs about ourselves to keep creating a new day. Those old beliefs just keep creating every time we believe them. And I think we're the only animals that actually do this, as far as I know. Have you ever seen one of those wildlife documentaries where they show the gazelle running from the lion, and then somehow the gazelle gets away, gets free, and escapes death? And if you notice, the gazelle will shake. It's like, whew, shake the adrenaline out, shake the trauma, and then they'll just kind of go back to grazing again. They're not thinking, did you see what that lion just did? Have the nerve? How dare she? It's just they're in the moment, right? They don't hold a grudge like we do. We on the other hand, oftentimes, we don't know how to process trauma in a healthy way. We either don't give ourselves the time to move through it, and we stuff it down. All in divine right order. It's all fine. It's all good. Everything's fine. Or we just regenerate the drama because we reactivate it over and over again because we haven't learned how to move through it in a healthy way. Last night I had this experience. Whenever you do a talk, you usually have lots of opportunities to explore the topic. And so last night I was on a customer service chat with a customer service representative, and that's always fun. You're on this chat, and I spent about 90 minutes trying to get my issue solved. And at one point, I've been about an hour when I finally gotten this rep to understand the problem, and I was sure he was going to resolve the issue. Guess what happened? We got disconnected. Like, oh, I had to start a whole new chat with a whole new rep. And this one flat out told me she can help me. Just flat, I'm like, but wait, the guy before you just said you could. But after a little drama, and I think of Alan Cohen, who says, in customer service, if you first get a no, just keep trying till you get a yes. And life is like that too, right? You just keep trying till we get a yes. So after a little drama, I finally got it resolved to my satisfaction. But I noticed how much stress I was feeling, right? And I needed to process it, so I vented a little to Robert, and I did my deep breathing, and I physically shook it off. And, I have these tools that can help with that. We have these tools to be able to notice our breath, to get present in the room, to feel our feelings, to get support when we need it. And in that moment, I was at this place of choice, right? I had an opportunity to decide whether I was going to continue to, let it all move through me, or with great love and compassion, acknowledge it, move through it, get the support I needed. So this idea of cleaning the slate is really about not letting things pile up. I had another awareness this last week about not letting something pile up when I was kind of caught off guard by a decision made by a colleague of mine that I've been working with that excluded me from the process. And I found out about this decision in an email that she sent to this larger group. And in that moment I read that, I was like, well, wait a minute, what happened? And I could feel this like, wow, what happened? And I had a choice in that moment to let it simmer, to let it dig into me, to make up a story about what happened and why this happened. Or I had a chance to wipe the slate clean by choosing to be in communication with her, by choosing to step forward, and not by email or text. We don't do conflict resolution that way. I just picking up the phone and giving her a call and having a conversation and being vulnerable, and we got to clear the air, and I felt good that we could continue forward with that clean slate. And sometimes these little micro things are what really build up. Those are the things that cause the stress. And so if we can constantly be cleaning the slate, what is this belief in this moment? What am I thinking here? How can I begin anew? How can I begin to create in a different way? How can I shift it just a little bit? Dr. Ernest Holmes said, we can sit in the shade or move into the sunshine. Sitting in the shade, we may not really believe that there is any sunshine, but the sun would be there all the time. And all the time we're in bondage. The real freedom exists. It is there, but we must awaken to it. The law of mind as quickly creates one form as another for us, and we must allow the patterns of our thought to become molded from the highest sense of reality we possess. And I love this idea that we can, we have that choice, right? We can sit in the shade or we can move into the sunshine, And I don't think when Dr. Holmes said that, he meant to gloss over it, to just say, okay, I'm just going to look at the sunny side of life. Or I know that it's not meant to say that there are not situations that people are in that they can't just move to the sunny side, that there has to be, support and help to do that. But I think in a lot of everyday situations, we can absolutely move into the light and free ourselves of beliefs and ideas and let the trauma move through us. We can allow ourselves to create new patterns. That's what he's talking about. We must allow the patterns of our thought to become molded from the highest sense of reality we possess. At that moment, the highest sense of reality we can possess. And so that might, in that moment, it just might be taking a breath and knowing that I'm a divine expression of God. Taking a breath and knowing that in this moment I could take a different choice in the thought that I'm thinking. And we can be gentle with ourselves. That is the whole great thing about this, is that it doesn't have these big choices. It can be just these little moments of cleaning the slate so that we can begin again at any time, just like in our meditation practice, that, we have a focus and then we get off and we just go, oh, we've just gotten off. And we gently and lovingly bring ourselves back to where it is that we choose to put our thought, to put our attention. And this is the power of choice. We are so empowered by choice. I was so inspired by the story of Anthony Ray Hinton in his book, The Sun Does Shine. And he, they write in the book, it was co-written with Laura Love Hardin, and they write on April 13th, 2015, and Anthony Ray Hinton was released from prison after spending nearly 30 years in solitary confinement on Alabama's death row, almost 30 years. He is one of the longest serving condemned prisoners facing execution in America to have been proven innocent and released after 30 years. And he stayed in jail for like 8 years after everybody knew he was innocent. So if anybody had the right to feel and experience all kinds of negative emotions, all kinds of frustration and trauma, he realized he had a choice. He realized he had a choice. And even when he was sitting there on death row, he said that despair was a choice, that hatred was a choice, that anger was a choice. He said, I still have choices, even on death row. And that knowing rocked me. He said, I still had choices, and that knowing rocked me. I could choose to give up or hang on. Hope was a choice. Faith was a choice. And more than anything else, life was a choice. Compassion was a choice. And again, that didn't mean that he didn't have to deal with trauma, or that he shouldn't, want accountability or fight for what was right, or have his emotions. But he knew that one of the ways they could actually fight was knowing that he had some agency, that he had choice in every moment of his life. So every choice is like this blank slate. We can make it a new choice. And sometimes we're wiping those slate cleans with really big changes. The birth of anything new is oftentimes preceded by a lot of pain and a lot of messiness. If you ever been at the birth of a child, you know that is very true. Or if you've ever moved, that's very true, right? That before we can enjoy our new, beautiful new home, we got to get through all the mess and the boxes and if you ever cleaned out your closet, it's there's a lot of messiness before we can enjoy the new slate. So we have to sometimes contend with destruction and disorder that can temporarily look and feel worse than how we started out. So sometimes we're afraid to even try to clean out that slate because it feels messy and it feels hard for us. And again, this is where we have to, be gentle with ourselves, and we have to let go of our oftentimes our changing identities when we wipe these slate clean, when we leave a job or when we lose a loved one. My identity as a daughter just changed after the death of my mother. And when we embark on a spiritual path, we often have to wipe the slate clean from our old beliefs of what God is or who we are. That is what I always tell you guys, that it's so important. The way that we understand the divine, the way we understand God, the way we understand our experience of that and how we are a part of that is the greatest slate we can wipe clean if we have old ideas or old beliefs. Adi Shante said that enlightenment is a destructive process. It has nothing to do with becoming better or being happier. Enlightenment is the crumbling away of untruth. It's seeing through the facade of pretense. It's the complete eradication of everything we imagine to be true. And that harkens back, right, to the earlier quote by Raymond Charles Barker. When you know the truth, you're set free from the untruth. When you know yourself as evolving, expanding intelligence, you are set free from the former patterns of unintelligence. So to live from this place of clarity and possibility that encompasses our mind, our body, our heart, we are called to practice the presence regularly. This is where we release the thoughts of our past and of our future and ground ourselves in this present moment, experiencing whatever understanding or gift the moment has for us. And of course, there's a myriad of ways that we practice the presence. In our teachings, we have spiritual mind treatment and meditation and mindfulness. I love how Dr. Holmes describes contemplation and meditation in this way. He says this moment of silence when we're moving through a time of change. He says the silence means this: a contemplation in the quiet of the mind when the object tumult is temporarily stilled, and we rise in our consciousness to the place of pure causation, which is spirit. So in those moments when we're in that place, sometimes I've talked to you about Bardo, the place between. That's what moving into the clean, creating a clean slate is. This Bardo. It's the ending has kind of happened and the beginning hasn't happened yet, and it's this moment, this temporary stilled place that we can rise in our consciousness to the place of causation, which is a clarity of our power of how we create. And the practice of our spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of prayer, Dr. Holmes said this. He said, treatment opens up avenues of thought, expands consciousness, and lets reality through. It clarifies the mentality, removes the obstructions of thought, and lets in the light. How powerful is that when we're trying to clean the slate and do something new, to remove the obstructions of thought, of false ideas about ourselves, of the things that keep us recreating a moment, of writing on that slate as much as we can instead of cleaning it off and creating a new slate. And so, as we do this every day, as we do it to our little slate cleanings and our big slate cleanings, we have to give ourselves permission to feed our souls, to take care of ourselves through whatever that looks, through our sacred service or through nature or time with friends or music or laughter, and to honor our bodies. Get plenty of sleep and drink your water. Those are absolutely spiritual practices that we can do in order to create something new. And remember those simple things, to find places in your everyday day life where you can practice clearing the slate. Where in your life do you have these opportunities? In your relationships with your spouses, your loved ones, your children, your parents, when you go to bed, communicating, and practice self-compassion as you go through these big slate cleanings. And remember that every moment we are truly at choice. And so here's an affirmation for you if you want to share this week. And you can say it after me. I'm open to the promise of a clean slate which every moment holds. Say it together. I am open to the promise of a clean slate, which every moment holds. Let's take that into our prayer right now. So in this moment, this is what spiritual mind treatment does. Our practice of affirmative prayer is that we stop and clear the slate of any misguided idea or thought of what God is and who we are. So in this moment, I clear the slate of any false idea that I might have about that divine expression. And I know and I claim it to be one of love, peace, wholeness, power, and presence, that this expression of the divine moves through all things. And because of that, it moves through me. And so as I clean the slate today, I let go of any untruths about myself. Any unintelligent idea, I let go of. It no longer affects me. And I claim and know the truth of who I am, which is a divine, beautiful, powerful expression of God. It's from this place that I know this for myself, that I'm able to speak it for those within the sound of my voice, within our community today and beyond, that there is this presence and power that is moving through each person as well. And if you're listening in this moment, just tap in and feel that divine presence that is moving through you in this moment. And so I claim this truth for each of us, that we each find ways to clear the slate, to begin anew, to be renewed, to plant a new seed, so that in this present moment, we are creating a new reality for us moving into our future. I celebrate this truth. I know that those who have put a word into our ministry of prayer are blessed and loved. I speak a word for Allie, and I know that she is wholeness and health. And I know for Kristen and for the family that there's support and love and guidance and vitality for them and for Allie and for all those that are supporting her on her journey. It's with a grateful heart that I speak this truth, that I know this truth. I know that it is already done, this word. And so I just let it go. I let it be with gratitude and thanksgiving. We just simply know this together by saying, and so it is. And so we let it be. And so we have another song for us today, talking about this clean slate by Eddie Watkins Jr. And enjoy it.
Every morning, the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. And every day, I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Every morning brings a new beginning. By grace another day to be. I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting the way for me to see. Oh, things that I sought and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Of yesterday I'm letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. Oh, I'm walking away from the less than that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk away.
Thank you, Eddie Watkins Jr. And what a beautiful message for us today. So we have just a couple of announcements. Our regular weekly offerings, our dream study with Charlene Banks, our practitioner and minister in training. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you for all the behind the scenes work you always do for us every week. We're appreciative of that. And my meditation group on Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, is open for anybody who might want to learn a little bit more about how to come into that present moment. And I think that is it for today. Let us say our affirmation together, and just close your eyes, place your hands over your heart, and just say out loud, I am love. And then you can open your eyes and look around if you're in our Zoom room, or if you're with somebody, or just thinking about somebody, and just say, you are love. And then we know ultimately it is divine love. It's all love moving through us every single day. And so send some of that out. Love sprinkles to everybody. If you want to join us for our pearls, if you're not already on our Zoom call, you can go to our website, cslleesburg.org, and just click on that Zoom link, and you can come and join us and share your pearls and what you might have gotten out of our service today, and just kind of check in, see how everyone's doing. So have a really beautiful day today. Love to all, and see you next week.